Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, look, see that patch over there? You ought to see what the other guy looks like. Hey, I was going to cancel the show. I says, look, I'm going to look at it, but I will not miss the opportunity to interview a man that's right up there, a good friend of mine from way back. You know, he remembers me when I was a patrolman. He's a former district attorney. How many times were you elected?
4 times.
4 times elected the district attorney. Now he's a county commissioner. He is the most qualified person when the time comes for attorney general, whatever it may be. You know, it's just like a fighter. He has a combination. It isn't just one punch. He has a jab, uppercut, left, or boom, right. And that's what it's all about. You want somebody that knows just about everything, whether it's politics, whether it's police work, whether it's helping people. He got it. Okay, so that's why I did not cancel this show. I want to be here. But it's a little bit of a thing here. The doctor didn't give a boom. I don't want to talk about that. So, welcome to the Hank Cisco Show.
Thank you, sir.
And in this corner, Bruce Castor. Bruce, there was a big election now. They got a new governor, blah, blah, blah. Tell me, what's your feelings towards all this? What's going to happen?
Well, I don't think you're going to see much of a change in the day-to-day way Pennsylvania functions, because the General Assembly is controlled by the Republicans, and they actually picked up seats.
Giddy up, welcome back.
I think the new governor is going to have to find ways to reach common ground with the more conservative House and Senate. So we'll see. Nationwide, it was a very good day for the Republicans last Tuesday. Every single governorship and every single U.S. Senate seat that we could have won, we did win. Yeah. The only downside nationwide was Governor Corbett losing. Yeah. But I think that the public had made up their mind against Governor Corbett far in advance.
Couple of things.
Even with all of the efforts that he and Lieutenant Governor Coley did to convince people of what was actually going on, the voters had tuned out, because I think what had happened is the opposition had defined him unfairly, I think, and people made up their minds. But beyond that, we had a very good day. As Republicans, all of our people,
nationwide
and in Montgomery County, all of our incumbents were reelected. We took back a seat.
What's that, Casey or Costello?
Ryan Costello won. He took Jim Gerlach's place. He's going to succeed Jim Gerlach.
He's a Republican, right?
The Republican. Mike Fitzpatrick held his seat. We took back a state house seat from a fellow named Mark Painter, who had defeated Tom Quigley. Tom Quigley came back and took that seat. So it was a very good day overall. I wouldn't read too much into the governor's election. Obviously, we don't like the fact that we lost an incumbent governor, and it's the first time in history that has happened.
He's good. I know him from way back when he was.
Yep, there's nothing bad to say.
Federal guy.
Well, but you know, and we will bounce back from this, from losing the governor's seat, and I think generally we had a good day.
Got it. It ain't how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up, right?
That's right.
So, all right, now, you went from law enforcement, and you had some big cases to handle, okay? And then from there, you went to county commissioner. County commissioner is to help the community, okay? Now, tell me, what's on the hot front burner? What's going on?
In politics, or?
Well, the welfare of the people in the taxpayers. What good advantage?
Well, as you know, we had a difficult time last term. The previous administration got investigated by the grand jury, and one of them was arrested. And I mean, these things are bad and difficult to recover from. But the new administration, with my partners and I, decided that we were going to
work together
and remake government and try to restore the confidence that the public deserves to have in their county government. So far, I think we have advanced that ball a good ways. We were in a tremendous financial hole. We had our savings account, if you will, was depleted. We had gone into this tremendous amount of debt. We had a lot of incompetent people in important jobs, and morale in the county was quite bad. Well, we came back and we analyzed this situation. We got rid of all of the problem people that were in the county government, replaced them with capable people.
I like that.
And we put in good, sound fiscal management. So I'm proud to say that we now have our savings account where it needs to be. We think that our debt has come down. The interest we have to pay on the debt has come down.
What I noticed that you kind of like the former Sacred Heart Hospital, that was owned by the county. That was on your shoulder, right? Shook it off. And then you have the other one, Park House, that was on your shoulder too, right? So tell me what the scoop is. What's the advantage or disadvantage of getting rid of places like that?
Well, you understand that I operate under a philosophy that the smaller the government, the better. That government is best which governs least. So we don't want to be in businesses that we can allow private industry to do at a cheaper rate and providing the same quality of service. See, the problem is, and you and I came up through the same system where the county was the court system, the DA's office, the probation department, the public defender, and those sorts of things, public safety, and administering programs for needy people, and those types of things. When you get beyond the basic requirements of county government and you start getting involved in things that private industry does better, now you've expanded government. Right. That costs more to the taxpayer because they got to pay more taxes to hire more people and benefits and pension and all that other stuff. So one of the things that we looked at is not only ways to enhance our revenues by giving people an opportunity to expand their businesses so that
That's
they're
a big thing.
Right, so that real estate.
But Hillary said something about businesses don't help, don't create jobs. Where's she? 4 points off the Chinese Navy.
Yeah, that's nonsense. I mean,
I never heard of it.
Government does not create jobs. It is private industry that creates jobs. And what we do is we try to keep taxes low. We try to provide the right amenities, fire, police, road improvements and those things, so that then businesses are able to expand. They hire more people. Those people buy homes. They pay taxes. That's how you.
I like it. I mean, you know. Hello, Hilda. No, what's her name? Gilda. What's her name? The Clinton. What's her first name?
Hillary Clinton.
Oh, Hillary. Hey, listen, Hillary. My father had a shoemaker shop on Main DeKalb Street, and he created jobs. He had 2 other shoemakers. He had 4 shoe shine guys, and he had a guy to clean the hats, and then he had a guy to finish the shoes. So we had around almost 10 people working there, and that was small business, okay? Forget it, okay? All right, go back to sleep.
So what we try to do is we try to get government out of the way of private industry.
Right.
Then private industry comes in. You take the Park House, for example. That's a geriatric center. Now, we have an obligation to be able to provide for elderly people who can't afford care. That's a state law, and we have an obligation to make sure that they have that option.
It's there.
Right, it's there. And yet, a private company that had, I think, 10 other of these establishments, they were willing to come in, pay us a great deal of money to take the liability off of our hands. They agreed to keep all the open area around it accessible to the public.
They agreed to that.
Yeah, no expansion, nothing like that. So all the parkland and a park across the street is being built. Representative
like
Verb,
a little farm, like little cows and stuff.
except for it's 70 acres, so it's not small.
A lot of corn.
Our own Representative Mike Verb was instrumental in making sure that the park money for the park was set aside. The county was able to split that piece off. The local township is negotiating how the public can maintain access, but everything has to remain the same for 5 years. Now, this company had, because they had 10 other facilities, they can buy things in bulk, which is a lot cheaper. and they still agreed to hire all of our employees, including our administrator.
Go.
It was a wonderful example of government stepping back and providing an opportunity for private industry.
Step back and let them do the. That's great.
So the combination of offloading these liabilities, increasing revenues in other ways besides tax increases, has made it so our debt and our debt has shrunk and our savings have increased.
You know, you're a former district attorney. You had a lot to do. You know, district attorney naturally, he's the prosecutor. He's the one that goes before the judge with the information he gets from the state police and then or the local police, whatever it may be. And we had this state policeman that was killed and the other one wounded. Tell me something about this, about how the state police operate or something. What do you think?
Well, you know, your viewership almost certainly live in areas where there are local police for the most part. You see their cars drive by. You know your officers. You know that they're going to be on the corners when school lets out. There might even be officers in the schools themselves. I mean, there's a high-profile police presence, and I know you and I have talked about this before. Uniformed patrol officers and marked cars is the best deterrent to crime.
Right.
But that's because we live in a relatively population-dense area. You get in some of these rural parts of Pennsylvania, there is nobody up there, and a state trooper or two state troopers or a small barracks like the one we're talking about here in Blooming Glen, I think it was, they cover a huge territory. You come home and your hunting cabin is broken into, and you call the state police. Who knows where those guys are? They could be they could be 40 or 50 miles away. They are the law, and it's a very difficult job. They operate often without backup in very remote areas. That's why the guys who do that kind of work are highly trained to be able to deal with vast swaths of area. And what's that old joke? There's a riot, and one state trooper shows up, and the guy who called the police says, "You're the only guy here," and the trooper says, "It's only one riot." So I mean, you know. So these troopers were doing a very difficult job, and somebody got it in his head, this Eric Frame fellow, that he was going to take out his frustrations on police by shooting these two men at a distance like a coward.
Well, I would have loved to attend a funeral or so to show my respect, but you know, one was up in Scranton and the other one was in northeast Philadelphia. The other policeman with an accidental shooting here in Cutchahocken. So I was thinking, I was talking to you, we were just talking about maybe we should show some kind of respect here in Montgomery County. I like to hook up with you and Mike Ferb and come up and so we can show our respect to the two state policemen, you know. One was tragic, well, they're both tragic, you know. So
well, a lot of people
we'll just talk about that.
A lot of people don't realize that a large part of Montgomery County is patrolled by the state police and not local police. So we have a big state police presence here, and I like your idea of having some sort of a memorial service locally.
Show our respect.
Yeah, so that those of us who couldn't make it because of our job or the distance are able to to do something like that. But the state police took a lot of criticism for how long it took to find the killer. We had federal agencies. We had agencies from New York and New Jersey, and of course the local police. But unlike any other type of murder that we investigate, and as you know, I did homicide for 22 years. When you kill a police officer, you are killing a symbol of freedom, because the whole reason why we are able to function within this framework in the United States of all the freedoms that we are given is because we respect our law enforcement officers, and they are there to make people feel safe. If people don't feel safe, they're not free.
Right.
So when you attack this, you're not. Sure, the trooper is killed. Another trooper is seriously injured. That is a terrible thing for their families.
Who do you turn to?
But it's beyond that, because that's an attack on the institution of freedom in America. And that's why it justified all of those resources in order to catch the killer.
And we're lucky no one else got hurt. Now, you know, I used to go deer hunting, and I know what it's like going through the woods, and some of the deer, they like it where the trees are right close so they can go in and out, you know. And you had state policemen from all over the state, and they're maybe not too used to going through the woods and everything. It's lucky that somebody didn't shoot somebody, you know. You never know, you know.
Not to mention, they're obviously on heightened sense of alert. Their adrenaline is pumping, and when that happens, and you have a lot of guns in a lot of hands, bad things can happen. And yet it didn't. They did a perfect job, and any criticism of them is unwarranted.
You know, we mentioned how laws change about the Miranda decision, how things were handled. When I first went to the Norristown Police Department, it was Chief Buzzwine, and he was a former Philadelphia sergeant or so, and they didn't have no Miranda or all that. So they had this guy picked up 2 o'clock in the morning out around Brown and DeKalb Street, them big homes out there. He was behind there about 2:30 in the morning. So then you could pick a guy up on suspicion. You know, you can't do that no more. So they brought him in, and in the morning he's having a hearing. So he looks at this guy, and Buzzwine looks at him and says, "Look, what were you doing over there? Where do you live?" He says, "You live in Norristown?" "No." "What are you doing back in them houses up there in the north end of Norristown?" "Look, fella, the night was made for lovers and thieves, and you don't look like a lover. You must be a thief." I mean, and that was his philosophy, you know. So, but like I say, I think that with some time where police are criticized, but this is a time here where 2 guys, well, 3 actually, the other's wounded, that one gave his life, 2 gave their life, you know. One accidental, the other one tragedy. So I think it's a good idea to get that together.
I agree.
You and Mike get together on something, you know, and we're going. Now, tell me something about your son. He's in college.
No, he's in law school.
At law school?
Yep. He'll be a 3rd-generation lawyer. As you know, my father
oh, that's right.
a well-known
that's
lawyer
right.
in Philadelphia for many years, and my son is finishing his 1st semester at Duquesne Law School. He graduated from Lafayette College in May with 2 degrees.
It's pretty sharp, right?
Yep. And my father and I also went to Lafayette.
How about your dad? Does he help you out a little bit?
Yes, he does. He's an expert in estates and trust law, and sometimes I need to ask for advice. I call him.
All right, I changed my position on you now. I want you to be governor. You got everything for governor. Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. In January, I want it all in the family. You, your son, and your dad on my show.
I'll see if we can work
get
that
him?
out.
Can we work that out?
I'll work that out.
When he's home from college.
Yep, I from law school, yeah. I think he'll be back in your first show in January. I'll see if my father can make time in his retired schedule.
And I'll talk to John Doyle if we can. It don't necessarily have to be a Wednesday, but I definitely want that. You know, it's a great thing. Okay, now, what else? Tell me something about when you were district attorney. What was it tough going from district attorney to being a commissioner?
It was a big change. I mean, when I was district attorney, obviously I was at the top of the pyramid of the law enforcement system, and I had made many friends. And people asked me, "Do I miss my job as DA?" And I really miss the friendships I made.
Same thing. I miss being a policeman.
I miss the camaraderie and the friendships that I had made there. And of course, since I had started as an intern and had been there for so long, I knew how to do every job in the DA's office, and had worked so much with the detectives that I really felt like I knew what I was doing. When I moved to commissioner and everything changes, people don't realize the 3 county commissioners are like the mayor and city council for Montgomery County.
Right.
That system worked great when there was 20,000 people who lived here, but now there's 810,000 people live here. 810,000 people live in Montgomery County, and the government is essentially just the 3 county commissioners.
Well, now you have different areas where you meet. The county has like a branch or something in Pottstown.
We have
Well,
buildings.
What's the story on that? I want people to know what the county does. What else? We have a lot of stuff here. The juvenile, we got the whole bit.
Well, I mean, we oversee the courthouse and the county administration building, 1 Montgomery Plaza, all of the court system, as I mentioned, and then the individual elected departments like the DA, the sheriff, the recorder of deeds, the register of wills, those sorts of. We have to provide funding for their offices. Then what happens is the state gives us a certain amount of money for state programs that we have to administer in human services, whether it be...
Like you have a grant writer or somebody that looks for stuff like that?
We do have that, but the state mandates certain programs that we have, and then the legislature funds those programs. Well, somebody has to administer them, so we administer those what we call generally human services. But there are other things that you might not think about. I mean, every voter who's walked into a voting booth and cast a ballot, that machine has to get there. It has to be programmed the right way. It has to have the right names on it.
Make sure it's working.
And it has to, the poll has to be staffed. I mean, all of those things are done by the county government. We have 3,000 employees. I mean, it's a great big operation.
Wow.
And our budget is $430 million or something.
Wow.
So I mean, we do all of the things that you would expect in a big city.
But when you were district attorney, we're bouncing back. Some police departments want to call the district attorney in. When are they supposed to call in? When they got a case that they need some assistance to help make sure the warrants are correctly written out?
Well, we have a very good system.
How's that work?
Where we have local police who, in almost every community, that handle local issues. If it's a small police department and a big crime occurs, then the DA's office has a group of detectives who go out to help with the investigation.
Right.
If it's a big department, we don't have to send as many people. You're talking about Cheltenham or Norristown, Lower Merion, places like that. We can send some guys out to help. I think the system is the same way as it was when I was there. There are certain crimes where the DA's office has to be contacted, almost
like murder?
Murder or homicide by vehicles.
I think, pardon me, I don't want to cut in. Scotland Yard, I heard that if you don't call them within 10, they won't get involved. You have to call them a certain amount of time or they won't get involved.
There's a whole series of protocols that, one of the things that the county runs is the 911 system and the emergency dispatch system of fire, police, EMS. You call 911, you end up talking to one of the guys who works for the county. So when a murder is called in, that person knows that the lieutenant on call for the county detectives is to be notified and the first assistant DA is to be notified. Then those people, at least that's the way it was when I was there. I assume that they use the same method now. Then the first assistant DA and the on-call lieutenant will decide whether there's any county response required.
Right.
And then, of course, assistant DAs are on call 24 hours a day to read search warrants, read and write arrest warrants, make decisions on photo lineups or identification procedures. Then we have a whole string of forensics experts who will check fingerprints or who will check ballistics. We have on call DNA experts. So all of the stuff that you see on television is all coordinated out of the DA's office.
Right.
Paid for by the county commissioners.
When should somebody call the county commissioners when they need some kind of help? What kind of help can the county commissioners? Well, people, if they have a problem with as far as crime, they call the DA's office, right? What's a good time with the commissioners? What's good?
Well, almost any problem with government that's not obviously a federal case like income tax or something like that, you would call a county department and those people are trained to know where to direct the call to. We have a program called a navigate program where somebody calls in, it's a centrally located thing, and that person on the other end of the phone helps the caller direct the call to the right spot. So in potholes, lights not timed right,
come here.
That sort of
Yeah,
thing.
I can't. I got a question from the thing. Mike, you all right? We had to fix it, Mike, a little bit there. I couldn't read it. So, you all right now? Yeah. Okay. All right, that's a little eruption there. So, all right. What are you looking at for your future?
Well, you know, I practice law in Ardmore with.
Well, you're in partners with somebody. Who are the other
right,
guys?
Well, there's only two partners. My partner Lance Rogers and me. The name of the firm is Rogers Castor, and then we have 3 other lawyers that work with us, and then 2 paralegals or legal assistants.
Oh, okay.
So that's in Ardmore, 26 East Athens Avenue in Ardmore. So I practice law there, and mostly civil work. And then I am county commissioner the rest of the time. Next year is an election year for county officials, and
Next year you come up for election.
right. So I expect.
What are you going to do then? You're going to get a bob and weave in, right?
Yep. The whole thing
Get a
starts
bob
over
and
again.
weave.
It'll be my sixth election, and election years are difficult and not very much fun.
I thought maybe after you leave the district attorney's office, you wouldn't be happy doing this, but I think you're doing what's right. You seem happy about it, and you're doing a good job. That's the most important thing, you know.
Well, thank you. I mean, I wasn't happy with the way the government functioned the last term,
Well-
but the voters took care of that.
Well, you were there, you had a bob and weave every day.
But you know, I think that the government operates smoothly now. Obviously, we always think we can do better, and we're going to try to do better.
Well, all right. Got 30 seconds.
30
What do you
seconds.
think? Give me something about you, county, what?
Montgomery County's future is bright. Living in Montgomery County is a great place to live, and I encourage anybody who's watching this program from outside the county to move to Montgomery County because
Right.
it's a wonderful place.
And bring your business there, right?
That's right.
And then we say, hello, salute, bring it to your health. You,
Salute.
baby, you got your health, you got everything, okay? Thank you very much for allowing us to come in there. And it's my man, the next governor of Pennsylvania, okay? I'll be his campaign man, okay? Look at that. Thank you very much.
All right, good to see you,
Okay,
Hank.
Righto. Thank you.